Oh, ho, ho, ho. We are live. We're live. I can't believe it myself. We're live. It is the Woos and Whats. It is Loser Leaves Wrestling. The post show, the after show, the Woos and Whats of AEW Dynamite. I guess my name is Roy Hammer. It's weird to say that out loud, and it's weird to be doing this just by myself. But here I am. Red Jefferson live at AEW Dynamite tonight at the LA Forum. And so it's just me hanging out by myself. Hop in the chat. Get in there. Start talking. I want someone to talk to. So get in there. Start commenting. I'm going to read everything tonight. No matter what you say. No matter what it is. We read everything every week anyway. But tonight especially. You can say whatever you want. You can make fun of me. I'll read it. My feelings will be hurt. But I'll read it. And I'm happy to participate. I'm happy to hear. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone enjoyed. Brett Pendleton's in the chat. Let's go, Brett. Happy to have you here, bud. Happy to have you here. Just me, Red Jefferson, again, live at the forum. We might hear from Red at some point. You never know. We might hear from him. He's got the Zoom link. We might hear from Red. I doubt it, but we might. So let's get started, right? Let's get started with old AEW Dynamite. Sound off in the chat if you saw Double or Nothing. Also, tell me what you thought about Double or Nothing. How'd you feel about the show overall? I thought it was a good show. Thought it was a little long. Seems to be the consensus. Everyone thought it was a little long. I'm not mad at the length, but I'm only mad at the length when the matches on the show don't have any build to them. Give me a build. Give me a build. First hour of the show, I didn't need it. But you know what I did need? The first match of tonight's AEW Dynamite. Because we got the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk going up with FTR versus the Acclaimed and the Gun Club. Really, Max Caster and the Gun Club. And let me take a look at my notes here. Brett says, will he call the hotline? That's a good question. Red should call the hotline. If Red calls the hotline, he's calling himself. He's got the app on his phone. He's calling himself. So I don't know how that'll work. He should borrow someone's phone to call the hotline. Llama Lad says, yo, what a fun show. Absolutely agree. It was a great show. The crowd was on fire. It was fantastic. Brett says Dynamite was better than Double or Nothing. Two horses of a different color. Two horses of a different color. But tonight's show is pretty dope. So let's see here. So Punk and FTR come out. The crowd is going crazy for CM Punk. Absolutely insane for Punk. I can't believe how crazy the crowd is going for CM Punk. They love him this much. FTR comes out. They love FTR too. They're going wild for FTR, and I love that because they deserve it. And then here comes the Acclaimed. Max Caster's doing his thing. He references I said Ramber Heard. That's not her name. Amber Heard. I love the Ass Boys. I think the Ass Boys are doing fantastic work. I can't believe it. I can't believe it myself. I can't believe that I'm saying how good the Ass Boys are, but they really are. And we'll get into it a little bit more in a second. They have this match, and they just have this match. I didn't take a ton of notes on the match. I just thought it was a good 6-man. This was a party match, but it was a party match in the way that Red Jefferson loves a party match, where there's rules, but the crowd makes it a party match because the crowd's going so crazy. And the Ass Boys, their timing is really good in this match. They're playing it up. They're having a great time. I love Anthony Bowens. I love Anthony Bowens in the wheelchair. I don't know what his injury is. Does anyone know what his injury is? I'm curious. I'm curious to know. I know it's a knee, but what's going on with his knee? I'd like to know more. We got some comments here. Joe's in the chat. Joe, happy to have you here. He said, MJF to CM Punk pipe bomb. Hold my beer. Fantastic. We'll get to that, Joe. Oh, boy, we'll get to that. Llama Lad said the forum looked great. The forum did look great. I thought it looked a little dark. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I don't know what my expectations were, but I thought the new stage looks really cool. I like the ramp with the kind of the LED screens underneath it. I think that's pretty cool. It makes it feel special. I wish they'd had that at Double or Nothing. The only other thing that I took from this match is JR called I've got a lot of thoughts on JR. Now that I'm by myself for tonight, I'm going to talk a lot about JR. He calls them the Gun Crew, I don't like that. He should just call them the Ass Boys or call them the Ass Crew. The Ass Crew's funny. That's what JR should do. And then we got a spot at the end where Punk goes to powerbomb, I believe, Austin, and into Billy, who's on the apron, and he doesn't quite hit Billy, and Austin's head just bounces off the top rope, and it looked not pretty. It looked pretty painful, and I hope Austin's okay. We got a comment here. Brett Pendleton says, if Punk keeps botching like that, that belt needs to be taken off him sooner rather than later. I'm assuming you're talking about the powerbomb there, Brett, and I don't know if I agree that the belt should be taken off of him. I think he wrestled 98% of this match perfectly. He jumped up to the top rope, no problem. I was watching the show with a friend of mine who knows nothing about wrestling, and he commented and said, that guy likes the top rope. Effortlessly up there. So he's not doing that bad. But, yeah, I think he's maybe not as strong as he thinks he is, maybe. Maybe he had a long match on Sunday, and now he's coming back and doing this. You don't have to do any powerbomb spots, Punk. Take it easy. Take it easy. Metasunbro's here. Metasunbro, how you doing? Happy to have you here. Thanks for doing the solo tonight. Oh, Metasunbro, thank you for showing up. That's what matters. I'm not doing the solo. Y'all are here. Is it me or was Punk off tonight? You know, that's an interesting thought. I thought he was on fire. I thought he was doing well, but maybe he was off. I think anytime I see FTR, I'm a little blinded by their light, and I just assume everyone around them's doing a great job. Maybe he was off a little bit. Maybe he was. But anyway, after that, Punk talks. He says he's got to try and get better. He's got to learn. He's going to learn. He said call him positive or negative as long as you don't call him late for dinner. Just kidding. He said call him champion because he's champion. And he should be champion. And it's shocking because at first I was like, there's no way Punk should ever be champion. This is ridiculous. But he earned it. He really did earn it. And he should be champion, and I'm psyched that he's champion. Congratulations to CM Punk for being heavyweight champion. Brett said, powerbomb, botched springboard, almost dropping whoever on the finish. That was Austin Gunn. And I don't know. He didn't look good at Double or Nothing, and he didn't look good here. Maybe I got to go back and watch this. Maybe I'm watching this through rose-colored glasses, as they say, through acclaimed colored tights glasses. Maybe I am. But, Brett, you know, I'm willing to dig a little deeper and find out for you. I'm willing to be wrong in this scenario. Maybe Punk isn't as sharp as I think he is. But Punk talks, and then FTR talks, and they challenge people from all companies. And then Punk is, he doesn't have time for this shit. So he just grabs the mic and he says, just tell me who my opponent's going to be at Forbidden Door. I just want to know now. So we can just get on the road to Forbidden Door, which I think the road to, well, whatever, it's fine. And out comes Tanahashi. Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to be his opponent at the Forbidden Door. And let me know what you think about that, because personally, I think he's the perfect opponent because he can lose to Punk, and it's not a big deal. And Tanahashi, while very old and he's very beaten up, he can still go and can still have a great match. And I think they're going to wrestle the same speed because they're both in kind of the same boat, except Tanahashi didn't leave for 6 years. If 7 years? 7 years? If Punk hadn't left for 7 years, they'd be in the same situation. But from an age perspective and a speed perspective, I think their styles match up really well, and I think they'll have a good match. And that means that Okada's maybe going to wrestle Adam Cole? I don't know. What do y'all think? Let me know what y'all think. Where are we here? John's here. Hey, John. Happy to have you. Thanks for hanging out. He botched a springboard off a hot tag, too. That's why he said he was trying to get better. I missed that. All right, well, he's recognizing that he's trying to get better. And it's appreciated. I got to say. Joe says, JR should be relegated to random one-word responses, not constant talking. Just call out sassafras or slobber knocker randomly. Yeah, well, we'll talk more about JR. I've got some comments. JR, without saying it expressly, has really declared who he likes and who he doesn't like, and we'll get into that. John Busman, Dax, I have done drugs. Yes, he has. Yeah, I forgot that Punk said that. Punk said this thing about, I've never done drugs, but I imagine this is what it feels like. I like that call out. I like that call out from him. This was why I actually liked Punk in high school. because I also didn't do drugs, and I saw this guy who didn't, and that was cool. But Dax has done some drugs. He's definitely done some drugs. But it's okay. It's okay. Cool. So they do that, and it's Tanahashi, and that is crazy and exciting. And then it's really the moment of truth. Right after that, out comes MJF. The music hits. The crowd pops for him. The crowd is excited to see him. And then he says, cut my music, without a mic as he's walking down to the ring. And then people start to boo him a little bit. And then he just goes on to cut the craziest promo, the best promo. Every time you think he can't get better, he gets better. And, man, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. And this is like impossible to talk about by myself. So everybody chime in the chat after we're done talking about Punk. Chime in about this promo. I mean, let's see. He said this was all friends wrestling. Everyone was getting handed contracts except him. He had to punch his own ticket, and he gets no respect. I don't know if that's true, but that's okay. He gets no respect. No one is on his level, which he said before and continues to be true. I don't know if anyone is on his level right now. I really don't. I really don't know. He says, what does he say here? Oh, there's some clapping and some boos, and he calls it out. He recognizes that there is some people clapping because they recognize that it's true, everything that he's saying, which was a really nice touch and very true. And he calls people unprofessional. And I love that he said that the fans don't know shit because it's true. But all we do is pretend like we do, and we listen and read all of these different things from all of these different journalists who may or may not know what's going on. We have all of these opinions. For a while, I'm sure there were a lot of fans who thought that he couldn't wrestle, which is a fair assessment because everyone was so focused on his mic skills that they didn't realize how good he was in the ring as well, which he has gone on to prove. Incredible. And then, of course, man, the thing that was really crazy about this promo is that he turned babyface in the middle of the promo. And it wasn't the intention for him to turn babyface, but as soon as you bring up the WWE, in whatever capacity, as soon as you bring up the WWE, the crowd's going to pop huge for you, and you're going to be a babyface all of a sudden. All of these ex-WWE guys and all of that, and that points out the hypocrisy of the crowd, and you're cheering for the fact that Tony Khan's hiring all these ex-WWE guys and burying all of the originals, but suddenly, you cheer for all the ex-WWE guys. It's crazy. This promo was nuts. Let's take a second here. Where are we? Llama Lad said, would have liked Kenta versus Punk, but Tanahashi is also good. Don't count out Kenta versus Punk. I don't think they deem that a pay-per-view quality match, but I would not be surprised if you saw that on a Dynamite before Forbidden Door. I would not be surprised. Let's see. Brooklyn Bleak's here. Hey, Brooklyn Bleak. Happy to have you here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Why does JR feel the need to point out bad spots in matches and apologize for it? I haven't seen that. He does that? Man, I can't keep track of all the dumb shit JR says. Brett Pendleton says, I love Punk just as much as the next guy, but I don't think our champ should be someone botching this frequently as champ. It's been 2 matches or whatever, but it's a bummer. Give Kyle O'Reilly the belt. Hot take alert from Brett Pendleton. Brett, that's an interesting thought. I don't know if I'd ever give the title to Kyle O'Reilly, if I'm being honest with you. I just don't know if he has the presence, but maybe I'm being hard on old Kyle. I probably am. Joe says, again, fantastic promo, only one complaint. Only complaints. Oh, okay, I see it now. Should have held him off TV for a bit to sell Wardlow and the what is happening aspect of all of this. I understand that. I get that. But also, you're doing this weird work shoot thing. And we'll talk about whether this is a work or not in a second. I think it is. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. But to blur the lines of reality, it's like he doesn't care about selling any of the injuries. He's just going out there to cut his promo and to do his thing. So they're disregarding storyline here because he has something to say. He didn't mention Wardlow once. This was all about the real world. This was all about, this was a shoot, brother. Maybe. Brooklyn Bleak says, nothing like a new champ apologizing and promising to get better. Fair. That's fair. Hey, none of us are human. How many times did Hangman probably apologize as champion? Not that many, because he got all of his flaws out of the way before he became champion. But I'm sure he apologized at some point. Joe says, number 2, referencing his complaints, during his time away, he could have done random tweets disgracing Khan to have them deleted, maybe even a TikTok or 2 as well, question mark. But I guess wanted to strike while the iron was hot on TV. Yeah, I do think he probably wanted to strike while the iron was hot, and I think they need to tell the story, and they need to tell it now. They need to take advantage of it. So they did. And man, I thought it was great. It did give me pipe bomb vibes. It really did give me pipe bomb vibes as he was going through it. I mean, this is kind of like a meta promo in a way, because he's calling out all of the flaws in AEW as an active member of the AEW roster and as one of the top members of the AEW roster, right? It's incredible. It really is. And then as the promo goes on, he talks about the ex-WWE guys, huge pop. It feels like, and this probably isn't what's happening, and this is really a crackpot theory, so crackpot theory alert. It almost feels like it's an us versus them kind of thing that's starting between what Hangman said about Punk and now what MJF has said about Tony Khan, and the way Tony Khan reacted to, I don't know if anybody saw the media scrum, but the way Tony Khan reacted to the question about Eric Bischoff talking about Punk, and the way Tony Khan stares at Chris Jericho so dreamily, even though Jericho is technically an AEW original, so I could be wrong about that. But it feels like a little bit of an us versus them, and I also kind of feel, I kind of also feel the way they're treating Darby Allin right now, that it might also be that. But again, I'm crazy. Yeah. So, well, before I get to the rest of the comments here, he starts screaming. He gets really deep into the camera. And then he starts cursing, and they start beeping it out. And I asked Red what they said in the what he said live, so we could find out, but he never told me. Uncle Moet guessed that he called Tony a fucking mark. He might have. Who knows? I never found out. Red, I know you're out there, so you tell me. Let's see. And then, so then they cut his mic off, and they just cut to commercial. And then when they come back from commercial, the announcers don't acknowledge it, which tells me it's probably a work. This whole thing is probably a work. And you're probably saying, like, why would Tony Khan let MJF into the ring to just cut a promo and destroy the company, etc., while there actually were executives from Warner Brothers Discovery or whatever it is in the arena, and they threw AEW a big party, like all of this stuff. Like, why would they let MJF do all of this? Because it's probably a work. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Khan's like, go ahead, air your grievances. We'll turn it into something interesting. Go ahead, do whatever you want. I could see that too. But I do ultimately think this is a work. And again, just because we're calling it a work, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. A work, all of wrestling is a work. And that's not a bad thing. We're telling stories. Somebody says that, right? Somebody says we're telling stories. I don't know who says it. It's probably someone I don't like, which is a problem. Where are we? Okay, Brett Pendleton says, the skill it takes to deliver a promo that crazy with that big of a pop and not stumble over a single word talking a million miles a minute is insane. It is insane. Brett Pendleton says, I love him. Oh, Jeff N. Royster is in the chat. Welcome to the chat, Jeff N. Royster. You mad, bro? I'm not mad. Why would I be mad? Are you mad? Are you mad, Jeff N. Royster? Are you mad? You probably are. Metasunbro says, the promo is already viral. MJF has the wrestling world by the balls. Got that fucking right. And if I'm Tony Khan, I pay him. I do. So, right, Bret Hart, when Eric Bischoff was originally trying to poach Bret Hart in 1996, Eric Bischoff straight up said, what is it going to take to bring you to WCW? And Bret Hart said, I want to get paid exactly what Hulk Hogan makes plus 1 penny. That is exactly what Tony Khan should be paying MJF. Exactly what CM Punk makes plus 1 penny. That is what MJF deserves. He probably even deserves more than 1 penny. He deserves more than that. And that's what Tony Khan should be paying him, because you can't let this guy get away. You can't let this guy get away because you don't want him to go to the WWE, sure. But most of all, you can't let him get away because it'll be crushing to your fan base. I'm part of it. I will miss MJF. I will begrudgingly watch Raw to watch MJF. I said that I was going to watch Raw when Cody went there. I lasted about a week, and now I'll watch his match on the pay-per-view, and that's about it. But if MJF is there, I will probably watch Raw every week. Joe says, he did turn face, but he also spent a lot of time putting down the audience. Yeah, of course he did. And you know what wrestling audiences love? Getting shit on. They love it. And it's paying off. It's going to be really interesting. I saw a tweet that said when Eddie Kingston beats CM Punk for the title and then MJF beats Eddie Kingston, it's going to hurt so good. If only that happens. That's the dream. That's the dream. I hope that's the ride that we're on right now. But knowing AEW, that ride could take years. Their programs either last 2 weeks or they last 2 years. And I think we're in a 2-year here. John Busman says, got Shane Douglas vibes when he brought up WWE guys. You know, Shane Douglas gets a bad rap, but his ECW promos are fucking good. He is a good talker. Shane Douglas is an excellent talker. Good call out, John. Good call out. I'm going to drink some water if I can find it. Here it is. Let's see. Joe says, of course it's a work. They would not have allowed it on TV otherwise. You don't know. Was the pipe bomb a work? I still don't know. I don't know. Half the things MJF has said may or may not be allowed on television. Who knows? Let's see. Brooklyn Bleak says, at least MJF did say he was hurt and banged up. Good point. Very good point. He did say that. He did say, hey, you know, I am a little worried about him, just a little bit, because if you watch Powerbomb like 4 through 10, he was kind of putting his arms down first to maybe try to break his fall. If you go back and you listen to the podcast that Red and I just released a couple days ago, Empty Arena, our review of Double or Nothing, we talk about that. And Red, who's you know, is a trained wrestler. He's had some training. He's trained with the best too. Johnny Rodz, one of the best. Red gave us kind of an education on the fact that if you kind of use your arms to break your fall, it kind of only hurts you more. But it could have been an instinct because maybe he did hurt his back a little bit. Who knows? Red Jefferson's here. He says, what a great host. Get out of here. Go enjoy the show. But there is no Rampage taping, so I wonder what you're looking at right now. I wonder what you're seeing. I'm sure there's a fun dark match main event. Brett Pendleton says there's this idea that they would have cut him off if it wasn't a work. But what if TTA got his own way, trying not to be like Vince and giving people creative freedom? Exactly. If I understand what you're saying, exactly. Maybe he was like, go out and do your thing, because Tony Khan knows whatever MJF says, regardless of whether it is appropriate, not appropriate, if it hurts the company or whatever, he knows it's going to be gold and that it's going to get coverage. So even if it's something so offensive, so like personally offensive to him, it's still going to get good coverage. And what is it? Any press is good press, you know? He probably, if he says go out and do whatever you want, he knows it's going to be gold. So it could go either way, but chances are they're on the same page. Joe says, MJF versus CM Punk 2. I want it now, but want them to wait. Yeah, me too. Those guys could wrestle forever. And if you remember, after Punk beat MJF in the dog collar match, MJF came out the next night and said, CM Punk, like, I'm going to follow you around until you're dead in the ground. He said something about his grave. He was going to like spit on his grave or something. Basically planting the seeds that they are going to be forever tied to each other. And it is never going to end. So you're 100% right, Joe. It could be coming. It could be coming soon. Brett Pendleton says, and dropping the F-bomb is what really pushed it over the line. When you say really pushed it over the line, do you think you mean it's real? Like my feeling is, and like they could be on a 3-second delay, right? Like Saturday Night Live is on a 3-second delay. So just in case something does happen, they can censor it. So they could be on a 3-second delay right now. And they could have heard what MJF was going to say and then kind of beeped it out, or they could have already known what he was going to say and had the button ready to beep him out because they're working together and it's a work. Because you think about Maxley telling that fan to go fuck himself, they weren't ready for that, and we heard that on live television. So I don't know. Joe says, definitely, it's a work. That's a good thing. The best stories have elements of reality and fiction. This is perfection. It could be. It could be perfection. Or he could be going to Monday Night Raw. I think, the fact that he said, I want you to fire me is, really good. Really good. Maybe he does get fired. But we've talked about this. We either talked about this on the Weekly Wrestle last week or on this podcast that we just did. Maybe this is like Brian Pillman and Eric Bischoff, except hopefully now they're on the same page and MJF doesn't fuck him over the way Brian Pillman fucked over Eric Bischoff. We'll find out. Although if you talk to Eric Bischoff, he definitely didn't fuck him over. He fucked him over. Joseph Redlitz, Joe also says, MJF equal printing money. Yeah. He said he's number 2 in the minute by minutes. Who's number 1? Punk? I wonder. All right. We've talked so much about MJF. We got to keep rolling here. So they come back from commercial and they don't mention the promo at all. It's like nothing happened, which is very funny and also probably the appropriate thing to do because, like, what do you ultimately say? I mean, who knows? And then we get a recap of the Punk Tanahashi thing, which felt very weird and very awkward, probably intentional because they're like, what do we do? What do we talk about? Well, we'll just go back to this other thing because it's a big deal and it's exciting. So CM Punk is going to fight Tanahashi. And then here comes Johnny Elite. And I got to tell you, Uncle Mo had a great idea in the Discord chat. So I don't know if anyone's aware of this, but Red Jefferson and Johnny Elite, Johnny Mundo at the time, they've got a history together. Johnny Mundo laid a big fat super kick on Red Jefferson, and Red's been looking for his revenge for a really long time. And when he laid out the open challenge, Uncle Mo and I were on the same page. We thought that it was time for Red to get his revenge. But unfortunately, another big, bad, bald dude answered the call. Miro is back. And Miro, don't worry, guys, just in case you were wondering, is Miro's neck of sand healed? Yes, it is. But now it is his heart that is broken. So Miro comes back. Miro, I just wrote, Miro looks great. Was Miro maybe a little rusty? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Rusty physically, but his facial expressions, he was locked in the whole time, and I couldn't take my eyes off of him. I thought he did a great job. Johnny goes for that top rope gimmick where he jumps off the top rope and then never actually lands the move, but always lands on his feet. And Miro rolls out of the way, but he accidentally clips Miro with his leg. And Miro almost died, and then Johnny's leg almost broke. But then Miro hits the big kick. He puts him in his finish. And that's it. Strong, decisive win. This is a good role for Johnny Elite. I don't think, again, he doesn't have a contract, but, he's an LA local. Didn't cost you a flight. He drove to the arena. He's a big name. He's a great wrestler. He's a great wrestler. It's my Bret Hart impression. When he challenged El Dandy for the U.S. title. You're a hell of a guy. Yes, this is a good guy for a squash. Like if he squashes Serpentico, who cares? But beating a big guy like Johnny Nitro, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Elite, Johnny Impact. Johnny El Segundo. What's his Johnny El Caballo? It's more impactful, and it's a good way to bring him back. I don't know where he goes from here, but he's got to mend a broken heart. He's really got to mend a broken heart. So hopefully he finds his way back home. He ripped his necklace off. I don't really know what that meant, but he did it. And I thought it was great. Hey, who's happy to have Miro back? Let me know in the chat. Mose is here. Hey, Mose. Hey, pal. Roy Boy, rolling solo fresh. That's right. I'm rolling solo fresh, all right. Red was at the show tonight. It was at the LA Forum. So Red was there. Let's see what else we got here. Mose said, so happy to have the redemption boy. Hell yeah. I think you mean Miro, and so do I. I'm excited to have Miro back as well. Joe says, have Miro take back the TNT title, save it from obscurity. Joe, I understand where you're coming from. I get it. After the last, 2 months or whatever with Scorpio Sky and all of those awful people that weren't on television tonight. But I think Scorpio can redeem the title. I really do. I think if you just focus on, because Scorpio Sky's a good wrestler. He's a very good wrestler. And if you just let him wrestle for the next couple of months, now we're cooking. John Buseman said he has to kill God. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's got to wrestle God. Who is God? We'll find out. But I think you're right. I think that's his next feud is God. Who is a wrestling God? Who says they're... Oh, JBL. JBL's a wrestling God. No thanks. No thanks. We'll find somebody else to play God. It doesn't need to be JBL. Llama Lad says, please give Miro the TNT title back and let him save the division. People are on the same page here. Hey, I would not be upset. I would not be upset if Miro got that title back. Give me back that Bulgarian-themed TNT title. Ooh, I love that Bulgarian-themed TNT title. I love it. Brooklyn Bleak says, I didn't know that they gave Oscars for pro wrestling promos because that's the only reason I can figure out why he went so hard in it. Yeah, and then JR chiming in that he knows how to pick his wives or something. I didn't hear that. I don't like that. The only person who can talk about Miro's wife, Miro. I could hear Miro talk about how flexible his wife is all day. I think it's hilarious. I think it's great. But the minute someone else brings up his wife, not acceptable. Miro needs to choke him out. Big kick to JR's face. That's what I think. Maybe that'll get him off TV for a while. Cool. So then we get one of my favorite segments of the night. I just love the Jericho Appreciation Society, and I hate myself for loving them so much. We get a quick recap video with dramatic grunge-sounding music of Anarchy in the arena. A lot of close-ups, a lot of blood. Love to see it. And then here comes the Jericho Appreciation Society. Man, they're all here. They're all in their white vests. They all look great. Cool Hand Ange starts the promo. He says something. I am listening to him talk, but I'm not really listening because I'm just waiting with bated breath for my favorite talker in the world, Daddy Magic, to start talking. He passes the mic to Daddy Magic. The crowd was going fire. They were going fire. That's not a thing. I wrote burning and then I said fire. The crowd was going crazy for Daddy Magic. They love Daddy Magic. I could be making that up. Maybe that was me who was going crazy for Daddy Magic. I love the staples in his head. I love how scarred up his head looks. I love that he called them the Princes of Pape. I believe he said the Princes of Pape, which I believe is pay-per-view. They're the Princes of pay-per-view. I love it. Then they give the mic to Jericho, and Jericho is just like going for it. He goes for it here. The crowd cheers when Jericho says that crazy guy, Eddie Kingston, tried to burn him alive. The crowd goes wild for it, which was fantastic. I love it. We got some comments here real quick. Mose says, is there an outside chance that Billy Gunn might be aiming for the title? What? Not today, but in a year perhaps? The heat with Punk seems sus. Mose. I love you, pal. I love you. But, I hope not. I don't know. That's all I can say. I hope not. That's a crazy thought that you just had. That is a crazy, crazy thought, and I love it. Keep them coming. Yeah, I hear Road Dogg's going to challenge for the TNT title next week. Woohoo! Just kidding. Come on. I'm just kidding. Joe says TK needs to mute JR's mic, not MJF's. Good point. Llama Lad says Matt Menard is so underrated. Yeah, that's Daddy Magic. Yeah, he's unbelievable. He really is. Did you guys see the promo, like the promo video where he's still covered in blood and 2.0 cuts this killer promo, and it's like a serious promo. His voice is incredible. His delivery is incredible. He can be funny. He can be serious. He can be really intense either way. It's really fantastic. It really is. Okay, wait. I'm not going to read that comment yet. I'm going to keep rolling here. So then Eddie comes out, and he's pacing in his Joe DiMaggio T-shirt, and William Regal's with him. And Eddie's saying that Danielson isn't talking to him. Then he said, Moxley hasn't talked to me in weeks. Y'all wrestled together on Sunday. Come on. Come on, Eddie. Come on. It's okay. And then Ortiz is still talking to him. He calls him Monkey. He says, Monkey's still talking to me. That's Ortiz, by the way. Eddie, you've been calling him Monkey for weeks. We know. We know, Eddie. We're listening to you. We listen to every word you say. And then, Regal does he gives the mic to Regal, and he says, like, well, hey, Regal, tell him what this match is going to be. And just like in NXT, rather than say War Games, he says blood and guts, and it's going to be a blood and guts match. And Jericho's like, you want blood and guts? Get. And then Ortiz hops in the ring from behind with scissors, cuts some of Jericho's hair. They start to brawl a little bit. And now Jericho agrees. I love that Jericho says, my hair is worth more than your entire existence. So funny. And then, of course, he ends his promo by calling himself a wizard, which is my new favorite thing in wrestling. Jericho calling himself a wizard is so funny. It's incredible. And it's going to be Jericho versus Ortiz in a hair versus hair match. And, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I believe that Ortiz is going to lose this match and get his head shaved. Because I heard in an interview specifically that he does want to shave his head. He's been wanting to shave his head for a long time, but his girlfriend likes his hair and wants him to keep it. Looks like he won that argument because he's going to get his head shaved. Let's see, where are we? We are... Mose says Jericho with a shaved head will reveal hair plugs and age. So nervous. Yeah, he's got to keep it. You started to see the thinning during the Anarchy in the Arena match. I almost called it Arcade Anarchy. Mo said Prince of Pape was solid aces. Hell yeah, it was. Brooklyn Bleak, Daddy Magic equals gold on the mic. LOL. He's like a crazy mix of Scott Steiner and Macho Man. Really interesting. Really, really interesting. John Buseman says, appreciate me. That's good. And Mo says, at John, I see you. I see you both, and I'm happy you're both here. Thanks for hanging out. Buseman said, they set up so much so quickly with this. They did. And you know what? How do you feel about that? I feel pretty good about it. They set up things very quickly in this company. They roll it out real quick, but it's usually pretty clear, and I know what's going on. As long as you're paying attention. They continuously reward the fan that is paying attention. And I gotta love them for it, because I'm locked in. I'm here. I'm ready to go. It's like, it's just, I don't know. Watching Dynamite's kind of like getting hit by a car. John says blood and guts? No, wait. Yes. And a hair versus hair match? Yes. Absolutely. And we'll find out when that is. The Blood and Guts match is going to be at the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit on June 29th, which is the Dynamite after Forbidden Door. So the Dynamite after Forbidden Door is going to be the Blood and Guts match. Pretty interesting. They're firing on all cylinders right now, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. All right, let's see. Then we've got they go to commercial, they come back. I guess there's like an AEW exclusive here, or an AEW exclusive, like a backstage exclusive from Double or Nothing, where Joe says his arm's going to be okay, and then Satnam Singh and Jay come down or attack him, and they brawl a little bit backstage, pushing that along a little bit. Yeah. That's just going to keep happening, and then that match will happen at some point. My assumption is that they're holding that off for whenever there's a next big Ring of Honor show, which will hopefully be sooner rather than later. I'm pretty excited for whenever that's going to be. And then we get our party match of the night. We get the Bucks, Red Dragon, and Hikuleo, which is an interesting choice, versus Jurassic Express, Matt Hardy, Darby Allin, and Christian, I believe, I'm still a little confused about the teams, but I'm pretty sure that's it. So much was happening in this match. Like I said, this was the party match of the night. I didn't take great notes on this match. I did take a note that they kept kind of cutting away right as like a dive was going to happen or something. They would cut to like Adam Cole at the desk, or they'd cut to the crowd, and then they'd cut back and someone would be celebrating, but you wouldn't see the dive. That wasn't great. I think the Bucks are so good and so talented. I think everybody in this match is really good and really talented except Luchasaurus. JR hates Luchasaurus. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. JR absolutely hates Luchasaurus. He won't call him Luchasaurus. He calls him Lizard Man, which is really disrespectful, and he always does it. He also loves Jungle Boy and thinks Jungle Boy is hot, physically hot. He thinks he's a smoke show, but he won't call him Jungle Boy. He refuses to. He calls him Jungle Boy Jack Perry all the time. to try to make him, I guess, appear more serious. This match is another definitive finish. If you'll notice on this show, throughout the show, the people who lost at the pay-per-view, they got their wins back tonight. So the Bucks pinned Jungle Boy Jack Perry definitively. So maybe that's setting something up for the future as well. And then they cut to Darby Allin, who's just so upset ringside because he lost again. I don't remember the last time this guy won a match. So let's get this in my head. He loses to Jeff Hardy in the tournament. Then after that match, I think it's after that match, they break Sting's ankle. So his mentor and like spirit animal, his leg is broken. Then for revenge, he fights Kyle O'Reilly at the pay-per-view, loses. And then in this 10-man tag, his team loses again. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Darby, but maybe it's time to take down that pillar. I don't know. Maybe it's time to rethink who your pillars are, because all four of them are in a state of disarray right now, except maybe Jungle Boy. He's champion, so maybe Jungle Boy's okay. I don't know. John says, I liked it. We're talking about how they built everything up and how quickly they built everything up. I liked it, but I have feelings about what happened with Jade Athena segment. Oh, we're going to talk about it. Like why everyone just bickering, but nobody makes a match. Totally. 100% agreed. Brooklyn Bleak, was Tony Schiavone trolling, saying, look at the size of Matt's head on commentary? Because Jericho used to make fun of it and mocking Jericho when he says, who would use fire on another person? So that's right. I forgot about that. That was fantastic. That was a fantastic line from Jericho when he said, who would use fire on another person, talking about Eddie Kingston burning him. That was Jericho being funny because he's a wizard. He uses fireballs. That's a great line. It's a good call out. Brooklyn Bleak then says, and Tony just says, a wizard. A wizard. And then John says, clearly they can have segments that directly lead to matches. Yeah, I agree. And that's actually up next. So, we'll skip, we'll just talk about this one thing real quick. Swerve and Keith Lee are backstage, and Swerve has some friends, and they're really accomplished friends. And they give Swerve a really fancy jacket, and Keith Lee watches. And people are going to swerve in their glory. And that's it. So I think it's a good little thing for Swerve because Swerve is doing his thing. And, Swerve is legitimately doing a lot of things outside of wrestling. So I guess it's good to kind of show that off sometimes. They're in LA. Might as well take advantage of it. And then we get this Athena segment. So Tony Schiavone's on the stage, brings out Athena. Athena's happy to be here. She's excited. She doesn't take the mic from Tony, so she immediately gets big points with me. Doesn't take the mic from Tony. She said all streaks are meant to be broken, and she's probably the person to do it. She is the one who's going to break Jade's streak. And then out comes Jade. She tells Tony to cut the shit. She introduces her publicist, Stokely Hathaway. And I love Stokely Hathaway. Boy, I think Stokely Hathaway, if they use Stokely right, he really could be one of the best talkers in the company. He should have a stable. He should be the publicist for a lot of people, not just Jade, but Jade should absolutely play a major part in it. And he basically says, you're not going to get a title shot right now. Kiara steps up to Athena. Out comes Anna Jay. And then a little bit later, out comes Chris Statlander. Stokely keeps calling for security, but security doesn't show up for a little bit. Then eventually some referees show up and they start the breakup. And yeah, I agree with John. This doesn't really give me a 6-person tag. Just give it to me. Give me the match. Give me all of this. I guess Athena's going to be fighting Kiara Hogan on Rampage. I could be right about that. I could be wrong. But again, it didn't feel that awkward and clunky as compared to a lot of these women's segments that they do because they don't really give them a lot of guidance. But it didn't feel quite zip, zap, zop. It didn't feel quick. It still kind of felt a little laggy. And it didn't lead to anything directly. So, what are we doing here? Let's see. John says Jungle Boy's been pinned 3 out of the last 4 matches. Good point. Just waiting for Christian to turn. Boy, so am I. It's killing me. I just thought it would have been so perfect to Double or Nothing because remember, Jungle Boy eliminated Christian in their Battle Royal last year at last year's Double or Nothing. So you told this whole story for a year about how there's always this like secret little tension, and this would have been your time to pay it off 1 year later. But they didn't do it. They didn't do it. We're still holding on. Joe says the new 4 pillars, MJF again. So good he gets 2 spots. Hook, and of course Danhausen. Let's all take it easy. Let's all take it easy with this Hook Danhausen thing, okay? Really great. Hookhausen is great. Don't get me wrong, but not quite a pillar. I don't know why they don't consider Hangman a pillar. Hangman is a pillar. Hangman and MJF are 2 pillars. And Darby Allin is technically a pillar too. And Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara are each kind of holding up the 4th pillar together because neither one of them can really hold a pillar to themselves right now. Jungle Boy has got it. He just needs to figure it out. And I think a big step in figuring it out, a feud with Christian. But that's just me. Lamalad said, can we just give Swerve and Keith a better tag team name, please? Hey, anything you want, Lamalad. What do you want to call them? What do we want to call them? What is it? Like Swerve? There was another name. I think Swerve is such a good word. Swerve should be, well, I guess isn't it Swerve in Our Glory? I guess it is already in there. I don't know, Lamalad. You tell me what you think. Because I could sit here all night thinking of terrible names, but I'm not going to do that. Brooklyn Bleak, I haven't even read the rest of your comment yet, but all I saw was let me Barry Horowitz myself, and that's all I need. I'm on board. Let me Barry Horowitz myself because I called Stokely Hathaway representing Jade and the Baddies a little while ago on this show. You the man, Brooklyn Bleak. You're the man. You're the man. I think it's a great fit. Pat yourself on the back, as Barry Horowitz recommended that we all do. Pat yourself on the back. I love it. I fucking love it. Mo said the pillars are a shifting set. Got that right. Now more than ever. So then we got this Wardlow match. Wardlow's doing the backstage thing still, but he's not in handcuffs anymore. A little bit reminiscent of Goldberg. They're making him Goldberg. That's okay. He debuts his new theme song. Kind of sucks. It's kind of just like his old one. Whatever. I wish I could read my handwriting better because I wrote something stupid down. He beats JD Drake really quickly, only with 2 power bombs. I love JD Drake. I say it every time he wrestles on Dynamite. I wish they were doing more with him. I also wish he wasn't wearing a singlet. Put him back in tights. Let that belly hang out. It's professional wrestling, goddammit. And then at some point, JR says, I bowled 6 300 games. And that's pretty impressive or something. He said something about how even though he's bowled 6 300 games, which are perfect games in bowling, I believe, Wardlow is still really impressive. Some dumb shit. I just had to call it out because JR's a dum-dum, a ding-dong. Yeah. Yep. Let's see what we got on the comments real quick. Brett says, it's the same theme song, isn't it? Like, no changes. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I think it's more manic now. It's like a little faster, maybe. I don't know. Mo says, big miss not having War Pigs Sabbath as a theme. I agree. My whole feeling is if you're going to even make a big deal about changing his song, then it needs to be a song that we all know, or don't do it. Don't talk about it. So I think that was kind of a miss. Yeah, it was a little silly. Then we got Scorpio Sky backstage. They're talking. He says Dan Lambert's there, and he says that whether you like Dante or not, and I don't, which I thought was kind of funny. Dante has a lot of talent or a lot of potential. And then Dante interrupts Scorpio as he's about to snap his fingers. And he says, thank you for recognizing my talent. I'm going to beat you, blah, blah, blah. I do think Dante's finding his voice a little bit. He's figuring it out. He's finding his voice a little bit, and I appreciate it. I think they'll have a good match. On Friday. It's going to be fun. John said, I thought he was saying Wardlow has bowled 300 games. Makes no sense either way, Cowboy Man. Yeah, that is true. I wouldn't be surprised if JR has bowled 6 perfect bowling matches or whatever, and he goes around telling everybody about it backstage. Anytime anyone does something impressive in catering, like if Bryan Danielson balances a chair on his chin or something, JR's like, that's pretty good, but, I've bowled many perfect bowling games or whatever they say. Joe says there should be a website dedicated to all the dumb/weird things that JR randomly says on TV. It's interesting. I don't watch a ton of Botchamania, but I know that they always do Taz segments on Botchamania, which are a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend checking out. But they never really do any JR stuff. They lay off JR, which is surprising because he says a lot of weird, dumb shit. Mo says, I want to get behind Sky. I really do. I just can't get there yet. Hey, maybe after Friday, after he wrestles Dante. Maybe after Friday. I'm willing. I'm ready, willing, and able to get behind Scorpio Sky. I really am. John says, Mr. Shivani, Cowboy Man with a mask. Oh, so good. So good. Then we get DMD. We got Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter versus Ruby and Tony. I loved this match. I'm pretty sure, didn't they have this match 2 weeks ago? 2 or 3 weeks ago? And, I'm not that mad about it. It's unusual for AEW to repeat matches this quickly, but I really had a lot of fun with this match. I think all four work really well together. They were hitting really hard. The crowd was super into this match. There was a sequence on the outside of the ring where Ruby dove off the top and just crushed. I think it was Jamie. Just crushed Jamie. Jamie also, such a good bumper. Bumps like crazy. It's fantastic. What other notes did I take here? Yeah, they four work really well together. The ringside. I said, didn't this just happen? And then everybody gets their pin back. Ruby, clean as a sheet. Pins Britt Baker, clean as a sheet. After getting pinned clean as a sheet at the pay-per-view. And by the way, for those of you who don't listen to the podcast, come at me. Because I think Ruby Soho, Britt Baker was better than Samoa Joe, Adam Cole. I know, crazy. That's a crazy thought. And maybe from a wrestling perspective, Adam Cole, Samoa Joe was better. But the story, the heat, the entrances, the whole thing, Ruby versus Britt Baker was a better product overall. And there was no interference. There should never be interference in a tournament final match. And if it doesn't even lead to the finish and Bobby Fish just runs down to be an idiot, then what are we doing? Why are we even doing it? Whatever. I'm talking about something else. But I thought this was a fantastic match. I thought it was really, really great. Toni Storm is awesome. She looks great. Ruby just keeps getting better every time I see her. Jamie Hayter gets better every time I see her. Britt Baker was on fire tonight. This was a good time. This was a really good time. John says Toni Storm rules. Yeah, she sure does. She's fantastic. Joe says, I don't blame Sky for the poor booking. Being tied to Sammy Q card has significantly hurt him. It has. It really has. I hope Sammy, I don't know. Sammy should come back under a mask or something. I don't know. He needs a reset. They all need resets. Maybe Sammy just needs to go to Ring of Honor for a while. I don't know. Or just, I don't know. People seem to really hate him in AAA. The crowd seems to really hate him in AAA, so maybe he should just go to AAA. John said, I thought Hayter killed Storm. This match was great. Yeah, killed her with a DDT on the outside. Yeah. That was, Again, my friend watching with me who knows nothing about wrestling, he knew that sucked. He knew that hurt. Mo said, ladies match was good. Solid. Seemed like chemistry was there. I cannot stand Hayter's ring gear. It is the most unflattering attire in AEW. I like Hayter's ring gear. I think it's interesting because every women's wrestler on the roster, and men for that matter, most men on the roster too, they all have multiple gears, like gears. I don't know if that's right. Multiple sets of gear. They change out. They get different styles. Not Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, same wrestling gear for every match, and it's all, I believe it's Rey Mysterio inspired. It looks like Rey Mysterio's mask is on the tights, right? It's got to be Rey Mysterio inspired. If it's not, that's fine, but it should be. And I'd go with that, Jamie Hayter. Hey, Jamie, it's Rey Mysterio inspired. Go with it. John says, disagree, Mose. Brooklyn Blink says, unflattering how? Just wondering. John Buseman said, disagree. That's I'm not going to continue to try to repeat that, but that's funny. That's really good. That's really good. And then we're here. We're at our main event. Daniel Garcia versus John Maxley. Moxley comes out to Wild Thing. The crowd's going crazy. Daniel Garcia comes out. he's like still walking fast down to the ring like he always walks, but he's like also walking kind of with a limp, like he's real beat up, which I really enjoyed. The Kangol hat gets better every week as well. I love the Kangol hat. And then they go on to have an awesome match, a really hot match. They're moving fast. They're beating the fuck out of each other. Garcia busts Maxley open again. He starts to gush blood, which is important to tell the story of blood and guts. And then at one point in the match, it runs long a little bit. We get to the finish. I just read John's comment. This could go late, as late as 9:02, which is true. Jericho comes running down to ringside, and then Eddie comes running down to ringside, and he runs so quickly that he slips, almost falls, and eats shit super hard. The camera cuts away. He pulls Jericho down. Moxley gets the pin. Well, no, Moxley gets the chokes him out. Moxley grabs the mic afterwards, and he says, "You want blood and guts?" You know, what does he say first? He said something like, "Eddie, you're a hard man to love." And Eddie agrees. He's shaking his head. He agrees. He knows he is. And he is. I bet he's a really hard man to love, but he's worth it. He's worth it. Sorry, Joe. He's worth it. And they make blood and guts official. It's happening. And then they announced Rampage, which is the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers, which is just going to be a party match, but it's in the Young Bucks, technically the Young Bucks' hometown, as close to the Young Bucks' hometown as you can possibly get. And I feel like when AEW started, all the Bucks wanted to do was wrestle here at this place. They wanted to wrestle in Los Angeles. They wanted to wrestle in Ontario, near their hometown. That's what they wanted to do, so they're getting to do that. And, of course, they're fighting the Lucha Bros. They've had 2 5-star matches with those guys. I'm sure they're going to have a great match on Rampage. Scorp's going to fight Dante. Athena's making her debut, and I think there's another match as well. That's also sounds pretty cool, and it's a live show, so I'm excited. I'm excited to watch Rampage. I think it's going to be great. Let's see if we got any more comments here. Brooklyn Bleak says, Hater has that lariat finish, right? That lariat finisher, right? Her outfit reminds me of Asuka's a little bit. Oh, yeah, I can see that too. Brooklyn Bleak. Absolutely. And that's our show. That's everything. Wow. We did it. I did it. We all did it, but I did it over here, and y'all did it over there, and it's fantastic. Thanks for checking out everything. Thanks for hanging with me. Like it. You take a second to hit smash the old like button, as Red says. I'm not a good self-promoter. I'm not good at saying those things, so I'm saying it now. Take a second to hit the like button. Do me a favor. If we don't get at least 7 likes, I'm fired. So we got to get those likes in there. That's a lie. I'm not fired. But yeah, thanks y'all for hanging out. Thanks for taking the time. Brooklyn Bleak, a couple of comments here before we go. Brooklyn Bleak said, LOL, yes. Eddie better tone down that emotion before he has a Titus O'Neil moment running all goofy to the ring. That's true. He's going to slip. He's going to slip and fall. If he doesn't play his cards right, he's gonna slide under the ring. And I don't know. Can someone actually? I was talking about this with Red. Has Titus O'Neil wrestled a match since that happened? Since he slid under the ring? I don't think he has. I think that was it for him. I think he was done. Let me know. And point me in the right direction of it, because I want to see it. This thing that he does. Remember that? Anyway. Mo says, yeah, Roy, thank you so much. Oh, is it 8 likes? Mine says 3. I hope it's 8. That's great. Great show tonight, Roy. You nailed it. Red who? Oh, this show would be nothing without Red Jefferson. We need Red back. Bleak says, impressive doing it solo. Y'all are so nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for checking out the show. We will be back on Saturday afternoon for the weekly wrestle. Come join us. Come chat. We'll get Red's report of what he saw, what the experience was. What was that NJF promo like live? What happened during the commercial break? What happened? We're going to find out firsthand from Red Jefferson. I can't wait to hear about it. Check us out on all the social media stuff. Check us out on all the everythings. We're around. We're talking. We're excited. Come join our Discord. Come join the Discord. I think Red and I are going to try to watch the WWE pay-per-view that's this Sunday. We're going to try to watch that through the Discord and talk about it as it's happening. So come check that out as well. It's the only way to watch a WWE show now. It's Hell in a Cell too, so it's going to be a shit show. So come hang out, come chat with us. Thanks y'all so much. It was great chatting. Any more comments before we go? Joe says, Titus O'Neil's defining moment. Absolutely. Mo says, I don't know this red guy. Oh, you know him. We all know him. He's burned into our brains forever, and we're all better off for it. Mo says, great seeing you all tonight. Mo, it was great seeing you. It was great seeing everybody. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on Saturday. Bye. I don't have any fun sound effects to play to close it out. Beep, boop, 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 boop. No, it's terrible. See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Ole. 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 Ole.